What's going on, everybody? We're going to get this show started in just a bit. I'm actually working on sharing the show out to everybody. Um, we're going to definitely continue to talk a little bit more about the fallout from Jon Robinson being fired as general manager of the Tennessee Titans, and Ryan Cowden, the vice president of player personnel, is the interim GM right now through the remainder of the season. And we're definitely going to talk about that. And Mike Vrabel, of course, had a press conference today where a lot of the press conference was focused solely on this firing and everything. And I'm gonna give you a few thoughts about it as I listened to it. And I actually heard some of it, and then what will be next, and then also we're gonna definitely get into the Jacksonville Jaguars. We're definitely going to get into them, and how the Tennessee Titans can get themselves back, kind of get themselves back together, and rebound and get back to being who they are, and defeat the Jacksonville Jaguars and move a step closer to clinching the AFC South. So we're definitely going to get into that. Please, everybody, do share this show out to everybody, and we're definitely going to get started in just a bit. So share the show out, and we're going to get everything started in less than 60 seconds. Here we go. What's going on, everybody? Welcome in to TNT Tonight. I am your host, Blue Enforcer, aka The Truth, and we are going to have a very good episode for you on this evening. I am working on sharing the show out right now, and I ask that you all do the same as well. Definitely share this show out to everybody, and let everybody know where they can come on in and watch the show and be a part of it. And everything. So you can definitely check it out as you see at the bottom of your screen on Facebook. You could go by TNT Enforcers on Facebook, on Instagram at Titans_N_Truth, and then also on Twitter at TNT Blue Enforcer. And actually, I got a video that I want y'all to listen to. I'm gonna see if we can get this working as far as the audio on that. But if not, I'll play it off of my phone from my call on a particular Nashville show that the host ended up sharing. So that's gonna actually be pretty cool with that. So we're definitely going to go ahead and get into this show and everything. But I see we got some people in here already. We got Titan Fox. We got AZ Mick, Monty Mike, DO9, or, some of our usuals. We got 615 Podcast. And also later on tonight around 7 p.m. Central Time, I will be on the 615 Podcast as well. So I will definitely be joining that to kind of talk about this a little bit further as well. So we're definitely going to definitely going to talk about this a little bit further. We are again a step closer to clinching the division, and so that is something at least good to look forward to. So again, of course, I see we got a lot of good people. Rocky Yit is up in here as well, and let's get right into it. So again, yeah, if y'all see me looking down, I'm sharing the show out as well. Y'all could definitely help me out also, just by hitting that share button, wherever you're watching, and share it out, whether it's on if it's on YouTube, hit that share button, that arrow, and go ahead and share it out on your pages so that other Titan fans know where they can come and get their action. If you're on Facebook, hit that share button as well, and go ahead and share it out also. If you're on Twitter, retweet this show out so that everybody can see it also. So definitely make sure y'all do that, and y'all are helping the channel. I'm actually putting it on Twitter as we speak right now. So definitely make sure y'all do share that show out. Make sure you smash that like button as well. And then hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Go ahead and hit subscribe and hit all under the bell. So that way you are and you'll know whenever I go live, just like I did yesterday with the breaking news that did happen with Jon Robinson getting fired. So we're definitely going to get into all of that. And so you can go back and watch that video as well. And some of the episodes also will be on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple, and Google Podcast as well. So you could definitely make sure you subscribe to those, and definitely give a rating. Give me a rating, and let me know what you think on all of that. And so we're definitely going to get into that. Titan Fox says, can you imagine being an interim GM? There's got to be a lot of pressure. He says also, I don't envy Ryan trying to right the ship 5 games before the playoffs. And Derek Roberts with a $10 super chat. I appreciate that. If we run one round exit, do you consider rebuild? I think if we exit the first round again, I would consider making a lot of wholesale changes. I think it would be time to take a real look at this offense and go in a whole different direction as far as offensive philosophy. That's something that we would definitely get into and talk about in just a moment. But of course, the big news that happened is the firing of Jon Robinson. If you didn't catch my show yesterday, definitely make sure you go back and watch that. Definitely go back and check it out. Definitely went into detail myself, and of course, Ken Moore of K Moore Sports. We delved into it, excuse me, quite a bit, and definitely talked about it, and really got into maybe why this happened and what was going on. I mean, the timing of it definitely was a bit surprising. I think the timing of it was definitely one that I was not expecting it to happen now. Again, you know, there were some reports that there was a rift between Jon Robinson and Mike Vrabel. That either Vrabel or Jon Robinson, one of them went to Amy Adams Strunk and said it's either him or me, and that might have led to the decision. Some think that maybe it's because of what happened in the game against Philly with AJ Brown, and AJ Brown burning us after, of course, we traded him. And so there's a lot to go into on that. Now, of course, Amy Adams Strunk put out a statement, And Mike Vrabel in the presser today basically said that you know he was informed about the firing, that this was not anything that he did. He didn't go and clamor for him to be fired or anything like that. So basically saying, basically it was a back and forth, basically saying this was Amy's decision. It was her choice, her decision to make when it comes to that. Now, in saying that, I don't really believe for a second that it was just an Amy Adams Strunk decision. At the end of the day, it is her choice of what to do with the franchise. She is the owner, but I do think that all of this, a lot of this is on Jon Robinson. It's not a coincidence that this happens after the guy you traded in AJ Brown completely burned you, completely took you to the woodshed and whooped you in a terrible way. And that, I think, had quite a bit to do with this firing, but I think it's more than that. I mean, yes, I know there's a lot of people out there saying that you forget that where we were before Jon Robinson came along. I get it. Let me state this for the record. Jon Robinson did a lot of wonderful things. He got us out of the gutter. He got us out of being the bottom dwellers, got us out of being the laughing stock of the NFL, and got us to prominence. So let me put it to you like this. Yes, Jon Robinson did a very good job at a lot of what he was doing while he was here. But you also have to remember, it is very easy for a general manager to come in. It is a very easy thing. It is not very difficult to go from a 2 or 3 win team to a 8, 9, 10 win team and make those improvements. It is very difficult, however, to go from 9-7 to 10-7 or 11-6 to 12-5. It is very difficult. It is very easy to, add an extra 6, 7 wins. It is very difficult on top of that to add, going into the next year after you've won 9, 10 games, to go from 10 to 12 or to 13 games victory. Not that easy to do that. And so early on, yes, Jon Robinson was doing a lot of good things. But then Jon Robinson started to slip, especially after 2019, after that big run that we made. Have y'all forgotten that even though he was responsible for drafting Derrick Henry, Kevin Byard, Jack Conklin, bringing in Danico Autry, getting Ryan Tannehill, 2019 had that great draft class with A.J. Brown, Jeff Simmons, David Long, Amani Hooker, did great. But then after that, you had the Isaiah Wilson pick, Darrington Evans, Cole McDonald. That draft class was horrible. 2021 looks like it's heading down the same road. Caleb Farley, not doing much. Dylan Radins, not doing anything. Elijah Molden, Monty Rice still remains to be seen, but can't stay healthy. Des Fitzpatrick can't even get off the practice squad. Brady Breeze gets cut, claimed by another team, gets cut there. Racey McMath only has 2 career receptions and is just now getting activated off of IR. just now, and he has been out pretty much the whole season. Basically, did the same thing they did with Adoree Jackson 2 years ago. They held him out the entire year and then bring him back late. So for one or two good moves that Jon Robinson made, he's made about 6 or 7 bad moves. Signing Jadeveon Clowney for nearly 10, 12 million. Signing Vic Beasley for 9 million. Those were some bad moves. Now, what I will also mention, and this is something that a lot of people have really not said, is this. Yes, Jon Robinson deserves a lot of blame. And, him getting fired, even though, the timing is a bit crazy, it's probably the right move. Now, this could end up being a good thing. And this could end up, blowing up in Miss Amy's face. It very well could. Not saying it won't. And then you're hearing about Mike Vrabel maybe getting more power. I pray to God that is not true. Because Mike Vrabel, this is also a matter of ego. Jon Robinson does have a little bit of an ego, but nowhere near the ego of Mike Vrabel. Mike Vrabel has an extremely huge ego. Mike Vrabel really thinks he knows everything, and really, in the press conference, I have to be honest, it felt almost kind of cold from Mike Vrabel. Yeah, of course, he thanked Jon Robinson and his family and all this. It was like, change is never easy, but we all have a job to do. Job is evaluated each and every day, blah, blah, blah. And then he was quickly trying to go straight to talking about the Jacksonville game. He basically was trying to just brush that aside like that's not a big deal. And so, and of course he addressed the significant power over personnel. He said, that he and Vice President of Player, he and Ryan Cowden will work together, but Amy Adams Strunk has final say. Ryan and I will continue to communicate in that process as we get down the stretch, try to figure out our active roster, players looking to return from injury, but that process isn't going to change. And it says Amy Adams Strunk has final say. Teresa, of course, tweeted saying, if there's a disagreement on personnel, Vrabel said he thinks they will come to a collaborative agreement. Doesn't think that's going to come up in December. And I agree, because I'm like, what are you going to do with 5 games to go? Most players that are on the street now, probably not that great of an option. But we will see. So, it's going to be very interesting what happens. I know there was also talks of trying to get a jump on college recruits and trying to see where that's going to go as far as, trying to get, interviews with recruits. And, you didn't want Jon Robinson to go through that whole process just to get, fired. And then, somebody else basically has to pick up the pace for him. So the timing is a bit crazy. I hope Vrabel doesn't get all that power, because I think it'll really go to his head, and it will be like a Bill O'Brien situation in Houston, or maybe like what Bill Belichick is doing now, which is not exactly going very well. And so, Burrito saying Win will down and get fired. It probably won't be until after the season. Let's see. And see, Ty Fox saying this is a good time because now you get to jump, find a new GM to get started on the last part of the season or the off season. Clay saying this is a must win after this big news is shakeup. I agree. Derek Roberts says, is Eric Bieniemy available yet? Not yet. And he also says, don't let Trevor Lawrence shred us. Right now, Trevor Lawrence is day to day with the injury. So we don't even know if he's going to play. We will definitely see. Mike says, first round exit is pending. I mean, it's probably heading in that direction. I said that. I definitely said that I think the Titans are one and done. I think the Titans are one and done. They're Steven's right. Mike Vrabel having more say on the general manager, big trouble for the Titans. I agree. Now, this is another thing that really came out from a lot of radio show hosts. A lot of people were saying, do you think Miss Amy should have did a presser? I felt as if Vrabel was left out to dry. I mean, okay, maybe in a way she should have done something, but she did issue an official statement, about this. So, in a lot of ways, Miss Amy probably feels like I have explained to myself and, I did the presser and she probably feel like, hey, I don't need to explain any further. I, said what happened and that's that on that. So, she basically said that, she wasn't happy with the roster construction and felt, and this is the telling part where she said that there's more to do and higher aspirations to be met. And Derek says he tries to Belichick so much. I mean, again, Mike Vrabel speaks fluent Belichickian. Speaks fluent Belichickian. I mean, if there's a Bill Belichick book on how to, BS your way through a press conference or how to just think that you're better than everybody else. I mean, Vrabel read that book page by page, cover to cover, word for word. So, absolutely, he's followed it. He's followed it to the T. Rocky said we could have had Amon-Ra St. Brown. J. Rob traded up to get Des Fitzpatrick. And again, y'all have heard me. Y'all heard me last night. Yesterday afternoon, I was looking at the draft. I am definitely beating the table saying, John, Amon-Ra St. Brown is sitting there. Go get him. And he didn't. And there was some good things that happened, but there were a lot of bad things that happened too. So, there's still a lot of questions. And I do agree. I think Vrabel was put into a bad position. But y'all know what Vrabel did. He skirted around any question. And again, it almost felt a bit cold. Like, he basically said, well, I thank Jon Robinson and his family, but we have a job to do. We're evaluated. Let's move on to Jacksonville. He basically tried to brush that off like it was nothing. And Amy Adams Strong basically said with this firing, winning the division is not good enough anymore. That is basically what she's saying. That winning the division is not good enough anymore. We want Super Bowls. That is basically what she is saying. And, we're going into a new era. Everybody better get on board. This is either going to work or it's not going to work. And we're definitely going to find out. I mean, I think this is a good move. But again, I will wait to see what the result is out of that. So we're definitely going to find out. BLVG 901, what's up with you, sir? But yeah, he deflected questions. I mean, he was being careful what not to say. He was being careful not to say anything that would make himself look bad. That's basically what happened. So, again, going forward is a pretty big deal. So, we're going to see what happened. We're going to see if, obviously, I believe Ryan Cowden, these last 5 weeks, is basically an audition for him. Basically an audition. And, obviously him and Monty Austinfort are probably going to get first dibs. They're probably going to get first interview. But I would venture to think the Tennessee Titans are going to look outside of the organization. They should. I wouldn't keep this in-house. Now, if they do that, that tells me that Mike Vrabel will still be the coach. But I'm going to say this little hot take. I don't think Mike Vrabel is as safe as he thinks he is. Because even though Jon Robinson picked the players, he made the free agent signings. Some were good, a lot of them not so good. But Mike Vrabel even said this. We are evaluated with the job that we do. Vrabel said it is my job to have the guys that are on the roster ready to play on Sunday. So, even though Jon Robinson traded for Dennis Daly, signed Bud Dupree, traded A.J. Brown, it was his decision to start Aaron Brewer at guard instead of going to get one after you release Roger Saffold. It was also his call to bench Caleb Farley and all of that. So whose fault is it that we have one of the worst offensive lines in football? Whose fault is it that Dennis Dudley is the worst offensive lineman in the league and he doesn't get better at all? Whose fault is it that Aaron Brewer, as Vrabel said, is tougher than a $2 steak, which doesn't amount for much? Whose fault was it that he is starting and getting pushed around by bigger guys? Whose fault is it that Todd Downing is still the offensive coordinator who has no idea how to adapt to the situation? Ladies and gentlemen, that's Mike Vrabel's fault. When are we going to start holding Mike Vrabel accountable for some of this? We've obviously held Jon Robinson accountable, and a lot of people are trying to hold Amy Adams-Strunk accountable. Why does it seem like Mike Vrabel is getting a pass here? Mike Vrabel is just as responsible for this team, those last 2 losses, as anybody else. It is his job to get this team ready to play and get the best out of his players, and right now he's not doing that at the moment. He won't play Dylan Radins at left tackle, which would be the smart thing to do. Although the media like the Buck Risings of the world, Miss Teresa, John Glennon, Jarrett, all of them will basically say, Dylan Radins stinks. You can't do it. but you're basically just saying play Dennis Daly because we have no other alternative. So you're not even going to try those guys to see what you got? Try something different because obviously what you're doing isn't working. But Vrabel is sticking with the status quo because he thinks he knows everything. When are we going to start holding Vrabel more accountable? Adam Weber says bench Daly and Brewer, start Dylan Radis at left, tackle Corey Levin at left guard. It would make sense, but Mike Vrabel thinks that Aaron Brewer and Dennis Dudley are the best options or probably the only options right now. And that's pathetic. And Titan Fox says, if we lose in the playoffs, we would have done it 4 consecutive years as well. Maybe not 4 consecutive years because before that Baltimore loss, we got to the AFC Championship. It would be 3 straight one and dones. And then Vrabel almost admitted in the press conference he had something to do with the AJ trade until he caught himself. I mean, he wasn't happy about that trade. He wasn't happy about that trade. I agree. And the thing about it is, Titan South, this is a must-win game, and we're going to get into that. Is that, and Steven says, maybe Jon Robinson being fired is saying that no one is safe. And I've heard that too. Nobody is safe. Not even Mike Vrabel. So we're going to continue to see the fallout because I think this is just one of the dominoes that's going to begin to fall. We're definitely going to find out over these next 5 weeks what this really means going forward. But Ryan Cowden, of course, who has been basically the assistant GM, will now take over as interim GM. Remember, he was not named full-time GM. He is just interim. And he was a long-time scout of the Carolina Panthers. He's been the vice president of player personnel since 2018. So he's basically been the second-hand man to Jon Robinson. So we're definitely going to find out, in these next few weeks, if he can pull some guys, get it together, and really see if he can put a nice enough roster that can compete. So we're going to find out. Again, I think this is just the first of quite a few dominoes that are going to fall about this move, because this is a massive move. And so we're going to quickly go into, and then, of course, some other news that we had. Racing McMath was designated to return from IR. Elijah Molden goes back to IR again. This will not end this season, but he will not be able to return until the final game of the year against the Jacksonville Jaguars. So that's going to be very interesting to see, even if he does come back, because obviously that groin has just nagged him all year long. So I want y'all to tell me who was, and this is going to be a very short question, who was the two-tone blue star of the game from the Eagles game? I know there wasn't much. This is going to be a very, very short question. I know some people are going to say Amy Adams-Strunk for getting rid of Jon Robinson. A.J. Brown probably for making this all possible, because I think that was basically the nail in the coffin. Definitely Traylon Burks making that big time catch, even though he took a shot. And I know Cincinnati Titan disagree with me. And, he is a J-Rob lover, J-Rob defender. I get it. But it was the right move. So we're going to keep this short and sweet. I think the two-tone blue star of the game, Traylon Burks, because he definitely made that big catch. And we got two-tone Fed in the house saying Stonehouse, but I think it's Burks. Burks made a big catch, and I think when he went down, the entire offense fell off and never recovered. Never, ever recovered. So I would definitely give it to Traylon Burks. And yes, the shot that he took was illegal. I agree. He got flagged. He still held on to the ball. So that was illegal. I think Burks would have had a good game if he didn't get hurt. And Cincinnati, yes, we can agree to disagree. That's what this show is all about. That is exactly what this show is about. But now, and we'll probably have a lot of votes for this, when we have a star, we have a dunce. And we probably have a few dunces that could possibly be given out. I mean, let's see. Who is the dunce of the day? Is it Dennis Dudley, who, in a sequence, after Chickakankwa made a big catch, the Titans had a chance to possibly tie the game at 14. Dennis Dudley false starts on 3rd and 1, and then the very next play gives up a sack. And that messed us up from possibly getting a first down and continuing to drive. We had to kick a field goal, and then the Eagles go down and score again to make it, instead of being 14 all going into the locker room, is 21-10. So it could be Dennis Dudley. Derrick Henry didn't exactly have a good game. He really hasn't had a good month. Todd Downing not being able to adapt. Todd Drowning not being able to adapt, to Burks being out. Defensively, Christian Fulton got baked a couple of times. So there's a lot of possible ways. Of course, Cincinnati Titan says Titan Media gives dunce of the day trying to pry non-info out of Vrabel. Well, we know Vrabel wasn't going to say much anyway. Vrabel was going to hide behind the question, and that's what he did. And again, I think the dunce of the day, one is Dennis Dudley. I think Dennis Dudley is one. Jon Robinson is another, because this loss, as I said, was an organizational loss. It was an organizational loss, and it was clearly on Jon Robinson. A.J. Brown personally sent the message to Jon Robinson. Personal message. And Jon Robinson deserved every bit of that whooping that he got. He deserved every bit of that whooping that he got. So it was deserved. It was well deserved. And so that, I think it goes to, I think it's Dennis Daly. I think Jon Robinson deserves it. And, you know, and there are definitely some honorable mentions. Burks needs a bona fide sidekick. I agree. Rocky said they wanted him to throw J-Rob under the bus. I mean, say it with your chest. Tell the truth. No, Sin City Titan. Mike Vrabel doesn't have to hide behind the question. Just be honest. Tell the truth. You ain't got to duck and hide behind a question because you don't want to answer it. Vrabel does that all the time. He is Belichickian all the way. He could answer the question. He refuses to. The King can't run behind Daly and Brewer. I agree. I mean, Money Mike, Shea Bowen, yeah, he didn't look too good. He didn't look too good. Jon Robinson did let a lot of talent walk away, especially A.J. Brown. Jon Robinson deserves so much better than what the organization did. Sin City, tell me, okay, Sin City, talk to me. Was Isaiah Wilson a good pick or not? The answer is not. The 2020 draft, you thought that was a good draft by him? It stunk. Only one player is making a major contribution. 2021, he took a chance on an injured guy in Caleb Farley, thinking that lightning was going to strike twice like he did with Jeff Simmons. It hasn't worked out so far. Dylan Radins, they refused to play him at tackle. He signed Jadeveon Clowney and Vic Beasley, but were they good picks too? Jon Robinson, again, I said it, did a lot of good, but he also signed some very bad contracts and had some horrible drafts recently. So, Sin City, defend yourself because I don't think you can on that one. Typhon says you answer the question honestly and you end up looking bad. You have to dance and dodge or the media will gun you down. Avoid the bullets. And I agree. But sometimes you got to take it. You got to take the shots and you got to roll with it. Sometimes you got to take the shots and you got to roll with it. He wasn't, think about this. At the trade deadline, he wasn't aggressive enough. He wasn't aggressive enough at the trade deadline to go get a Jerry Jeudy or to go get a DJ Moore or, I don't know, go get Andre Dillard to fix your left tackle problem. Now, that's not to say that any of those guys come in and all of a sudden it's great. It might have went the other way, but you didn't even try. And again, Sin City Titan, if you heard me earlier, I said this could end up being a good move where we get a good general manager who will make smart decisions, or this could end up backfiring on Amy Adams-Strunk. I said that earlier. And you can't base it on, he picked Derrick Henry. Again, go back and listen to what I said earlier. I said he picked Derrick Henry, Kevin Byard, the great 2019 draft class, bringing in Danico Autry, getting Ryan Tannehill. I mentioned a lot of the good stuff that he did. But you also got to mention some of the bad stuff he did too. Isaiah Wilson, I hated that pick from the word go. Hated that pick. The Caleb Farley pick, I was shocked. I was shocked when they made that pick. So I get it. But Sin City Titan, let me ask you a question. Are you just satisfied with winning the AFC South? Is that what you want? You just satisfied with just winning the AFC South for a third straight year and then going one and done 3 straight years in a row? Are you satisfied with just that? If your answer is anything but no, you're proving my point. And that is bad. I mean, if your answer is anything but yes, you're helping me prove my point. If you say you're not satisfied, that proves my point. You're helping me prove my point. They're joined at the hip and heart separated body. But you still didn't answer my question. Are you satisfied with just winning the division and going one and done in the playoffs? Max says no. So we're going to move on. But Cincinnati Titan, you got time to answer my question. And yes, the next GM is going to have a hard time. I agree. Because, again, you're picking up the pace. You're picking up where Jon Robinson left off with a winning team. Not going to be easy. But we're going to move on and let's talk about the Jacksonville Jaguars. And let's see. If anything, the next GM will know they have to get the job done or they'll be gone just like J-Rob. I agree. And Money Mike said, look at it like this. What J-Rob did was make us a competitive team, but there's plenty of competitive teams, but he was not going to make us a Super Bowl team. And that's the thing. Yes, he made us a competitive team. But Amy Adams Strunk basically said, and I quote, there is more to be done and higher aspirations to be met. What is that higher aspiration? Hoisting the Lombardi Trophy. Of course, I'm not happy with just winning the division, but if we're a Super Bowl team or bust, then 31 GMs need to be fired. Well, you just proved my point. Again, you just helped me. Now, I agree. It's weird firing a GM during a division leading season, but a lot of other GMs haven't made dumb moves. Now, Kansas City, they haven't won a Super Bowl in a couple of years, but you know what they've done? Yeah, they traded Tyreek Hill, but what did they do? They went and got Marquez Valdez-Scantling, Juju Smith. They drafted Sky Moore. And they're doing just fine because they drafted Patrick Mahomes. And Bernie Devil, and that's another thing. He traded AJ and was probably on the way to losing Big Jeff. And this move told me 3 things. Offense is going to get an overhaul. Vrabel is not as safe as he thinks he is. And Big Jeff might be here to stay. And he didn't address the offensive line. So that's that on that. But we take on the Jacksonville Jaguars Sunday. I will be at the game on Sunday, which also will lead to my Blue Enforcer 4 points to victory. The Jaguars, of course, coming in. You know, the Jaguars are coming in at 4 and 8 on the year. And, you know, right now, Trevor Lawrence is day to day on his injury. Hope is he doesn't play, because if he does, you know, Jacksonville might have a shot. I don't think they have much of a shot, but Trevor Lawrence Right now, they're saying he's day to day. He did not practice today. They did not practice today, but I believe Mike Duraco, who is the ESPN reporter for the Jags, is saying that Trevor Lawrence is optimistic that he will play against the Tennessee Titans. But again, it's not 100%. We don't know. So we're going to definitely find out. And I said it before. Trevor Lawrence in about a year or so is going to be a problem. He only has 17 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, nearly 3,000 yards, completing 65% of his passes. If he does not go, CJ Beathard will have to start in his place. You still got Travis Etienne. You got Christian Kirk, who, obviously playing well with the contract that he got. They got Evan Ingram, Marvin Jones Jr. They have a dangerous returner in Jamal Agnew that we have to be careful of. On defense, of course, you got those two pass rushers in Travon Walker and Josh Allen, who, of course, combined to have 5.5 sacks together. So you definitely got to be that. I mean, the Jaguars, you cannot take this team lightly. We cannot take this team lightly. Sin City said we will win the AJ trade in the end. This will be an even worse look for the Titans at that point. We've lost the AJ Brown trade, Sin City. Sunday proved it. We lost that trade. You might as well just accept that. Keon said we must sweep the Jags for upping the market on AJ. Yeah, we got to take care of business here. And I believe this is a must-win game for the Tennessee Titans. After this move, because if you go out and lose this game to the Jags, after this move, it makes Mike Vrabel look bad, and it makes the team look even worse. The national media is already crushing the Titans for this move. You go out and lose to the Jags, it's only going to add more fuel to that fire. I think in a couple of years, I think the Jags are going to be a problem. But they're not yet. The Titans should win this football game. And this is how. But there are also ways they can lose this game because Vrabel sometimes tend to lose to a team he should beat. But he has done well this year against teams that are under 500, but has not done well against teams over 500. So here are my 4 points to victory. Number 1, you got to wake up. The firing of Jon Robinson was a wake-up call. And it is basically time to get back to center. Get back to being who you are. Get back to being the Tennessee Titans. Right now, the Titans need to quit feeling sorry for themselves for these last 2 games and get back to what you do best. Get back to being the Tennessee Titans. Wake up, take your frustrations out on the Jags, and get back to being who you are. Number 2, return of the king. Derrick Henry has not been himself this last month. He has been held under 3 yards a carry for 4 straight games. It's time for Derrick Henry to get back to being who he is, even with a pitiful offensive line. But in history, Derrick Henry has always done a great job taking his frustrations out on the Jacksonville Jaguars. As Titan Fox says, The Jags have been a punching bag. And that is exactly what we have to do. We definitely need Derrick Henry to get back to being himself. Because right now he hasn't been. And this offense can take some frustration out on the Jags too. Because Amon-Ra St. Brown had himself a day against Jacksonville. Get back to being who you are. The return of the king. Number 3, can we find our pass rush again? Because our pass rush has fallen off. Our pass rush has definitely fallen off. And we need to get it back. Right now, Big Jeff obviously is still dealing with injury because he hasn't been himself. And he needs to, heal that ankle and get healthy. Danico Autry needs to get healthy as well. This is a good game to try to get right. And last but not least, we got to get back to basics. Get back to basics. Get back to fundamental play. Get back to being efficient, sound tackling, and just doing your job. Do what you're supposed to do. But play angry. Play angry, play aggressive, but play disciplined. So we have to do that. And that's what we definitely have to do. This is a get-right game, and this is a must-win game. So that's what we have to do. And I know Sin City Titan, Ty Rossi, they got a show coming up in just a bit. I'm going to be live with 615 Podcast. I'm going to be paying attention because Sin City Titan, we going to have some fun. I'm going to make a comment or two. We going to get in on it. I may have to get you on so we can have a good old argument. So we're definitely going to see that. But again, get back to center. Wake up. Have the return of the king. Find our pass rush again. And get back to basics, but play angry and aggressive with a sense of urgency. And that leads to the moment of truth. Who wins? Pig Wickle, what's up? Titan Fox says, that would be a great show. Me and Sin City Titan going at it. That would be very interesting. So, Sin City, I'm officially putting the invitation out. You are welcome to come on the show. And Rossi, absolutely, come on in and join me as well. Hit that like button. I'm with it. Ms. Mims, how you doing? I know you just getting in from church. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button and that subscribe button. But who wins this game? And I'm just going to make it simple. I think the Tennessee Titans get back on track and get to 8-5. I think they win 27-10. I think they take their frustrations out on the Jags. And I think we get back to being who we are. And I agree. We got to win Sunday. We have to. We got to take care of business. John says, I like how most, if not all, Titan podcasters are cool with each other. Oh, yeah. We're a family. We're a community. We do things together. And Sin City Titans officially accepted my invitation. We're going to definitely make that happen. After the show, on one of the pages, definitely hit me up. Leave me your information. I will send you my email. I will do that, and we will definitely talk it over. And we'll definitely do something within the next few weeks. We'll definitely make that happen. Burning Devil says Titan win easy. Henry will run a lot. Rocky Hit says 17-7 Titans. Clay says 24-14 Titans. Ms. Bill says this Sunday is our Sunday to win. Time to win the division. And now the Titans cannot win the division Sunday. However, they can get one step closer. Their magic number is 2. So, right now the Colts are on a bye. So if the Titans win this game, then the following week, they can either clinch with a victory or a Colts loss. They win the division next week. Not this Sunday, but next Sunday. See, RK says 2013 Titans over Jags, 20-13. Again, I think it'll be 27-10. I think the Titans make a statement, especially if Trevor Lawrence does not play. I think it could possibly end up being a blowout. But if Trevor Lawrence plays, it could be a little bit closer. Not going to lie about that. But to end the show, I want to play y'all a little something that happened. I want to say when the firing on Monday, I called in to Blaine and Mickey on 104.5 The Zone and talked about the game, and they got a good kick out of it. And then Mickey asked me about barbecue, so we had a good show about that. But then also, CJ said he's super late. Goodbye, J-Rob. Tyron Fox says 24-6. So I called in on the show on Monday. It was right after the game. And so I called in to Blaine and Mickey, but then I also called in to Stillman and Company. And I'm going to just let y'all see it for yourselves because hopefully the audio will come through. It was so much fun that Jarrett and Caroline actually tweeted out this, tweeted this out. This is actually on Jarrett Stillman's Twitter that he put out. And he put this out on the 5th. So this was the next day after the game. This was me calling into the show. He was asking if we were contenders or not. And this was what was said. And I'm going to get ready to play it for y'all. Give me a second. So this was Jarrett and Caroline reacting to what I said.
AJ literally took, in that celebration,
I'm gonna go back.
AJ literally took, in that celebration, took Jon Robinson to the woodshed, did like a parent would probably whoop their child for doing wrong or making a mistake, and he literally whooped Jon Robinson and said, "This hurts me more than it hurts you, but this is for your own good." And Jon Robinson had deserved every bit of that butt whooping that he got yesterday. Because I've been saying this since before the end of last season. They should have paid that man. AJ literally took, in that celebration, took Jon.
So I will let y'all hear that again in just a bit. But as y'all caught on to it, they didn't even finish listening to the rest of what I said because Jared and Caroline cracked up. They cracked up laughing on that. So I want y'all to let me know, were y'all able to hear the audio really good from what I said? Time Fox says, I was hoping you had the video. Jared himself tweeted that out. I retweeted it, but he himself mentioned me and tweeted that out. So once again, I'm going to play it one more time for everybody because we're just having some fun with it. We're going to play it one more time. This was me calling on Monday about the loss. They said, are they pretenders or not? And I said they were frauds. This is me once again.
AJ literally took, in that celebration, took Jon Robinson to the woodshed, did like a parent will probably whoop their child for doing wrong or making a mistake, and he literally whooped Jon Robinson and said, "This hurts me more than it hurts you, but this is for your own good." And Jon Robinson had deserved every bit of that foot whooping that he got yesterday, because I've been saying this since before the end of last season. They should have paid that man.
Okay, I'm going to stop because now I hear that back myself. I heard that back myself. I even cracked up. I mean, the fact is, it didn't even matter that they didn't hear the rest of what I said. Because Jared admitted it himself. He was like, I appreciate the call. He was like, I honestly, after that, it hurts me more than it hurts you. I did not hear the rest of it because they were laughing so hard. And it was great. So I think that was classic TV. Alex Man says, Tops has the best barbecue. Used to live in Memphis. I think Tops has great barbecue. The sauce could be a little bit sweeter, but I like their barbecue. Rendezvous is overrated. But now, living here, I love One and Only barbecue. One and Only is some good barbecue. No lie there. One and Only has some good barbecue. Let's see. Bernie Devil says, congrats, that was funny. Titan Fox says that was perfect. Clay Light looks like, yes, the audio was good. C-Dub says, I was not against trading AJ, but was furious for what J-Rob got in return for a player that of that caliber. You only for 3 first-round picks or 2 elite players. I agree. And I said that too. Because all he got for that AJ trade was their first-round pick in that draft and a third. He should have gotten way more than that. He should have gotten another first-round pick or could have gotten a player also. So, I mean, yeah. Titans got fleeced. Titan Overdrive said, love it. Burning Devil says, so true. AJ confirmed it. Pure robbery. CJ laughing. That was funny. I enjoyed that. That was, again, the laugh did it for me. The laugh did it for me. I'm sorry. I got to do it one more time. Just because I thought it was funny. It is hysterical. And so, one more time, I got to do it. I got to do it, and I'm going to even remove myself from the equation. So, one more time for those who didn't hear it.
AJ literally took, in that celebration, took Jon Robinson to the woodshed, did like a parent will probably whoop their child for doing wrong or making a mistake, and he literally whooped Jon Robinson and said, "This hurts me more than it hurts you, but this is for your own good." And Jon Robinson had deserved every bit of that butt whooping that he got yesterday.
So again, I just had to play that part again. They were cracking up like it was. That was so funny. That was so funny. That's the blue bombshell of the day. I had to drop that. Shout out to Jared. Shout out to my guy Jared. Shout out to Caroline. And I retweeted that and I told them, I even said it on mine. I said, I appreciate the shout out. And they even said, Caroline even tweeted back and said, "Hey, we love you." He said, "We love you, Chris. Always love you on the show." So that it was awesome. I'm going to have to keep that one as a memento. So again, that's something that happened there. But everybody, I'm going to get ready to get out of here. Got to prepare for the 615 podcast. That's coming up at a little bit of around 7 o'clock. So we're definitely going to get ready for that. And I thank everybody for tuning into the show. I think the Titans will beat the Jags. And y'all help me get to 1,300. I appreciate everybody watching. I know we had over 30, 35 people in here. Make sure y'all share the show out. And let's go get this win on Sunday. And let's just, again, make sure y'all go join the pages if you haven't already. Like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I just want to say thank you to everybody for tuning into the show. And all we could do is tighten up because that's all we know how to do. Good night, y'all.